Okay, here we go. Yes, here we go. Okay,
yeah.
good. All right. Okay, let's go with pawn. Let's go with knight. Let's go with bishop. Let's go with knight. Pawn. Bishop.
He moves a lot faster than the other ones.
Let's go with bishop. Let's go with knight.
I don't know if you want me to slow down here, but I feel like
do whatever you want to do. It's all good. By the way, you guys, I think we got lucky here. We're completely busted, and now I think we're very much back in business. Because she said knight, she should have said bishop. If they went bishop d2, we were getting completely hosed. But knight c3 was not the best move, and now we're very much back in the game. Pawn.
Pawn. I need to be careful.
It's already pretty dangerous, so that's why even though it might be hard for him to find, I have
I'm
to.
not built for these positions, Hikaru. Here I go.
I knew it was 50-50, you guys, but at this point it's so bad that I can't say knight. I have to say it. And if he doesn't find the best move, you know, what can I do? But I have to kind of have to give him some idea. And this is why what I said unfortunately is coming true, which is like Hutch needs to work on his openings. His openings are the biggest weakness. If he gets some middle game, he's generally pretty stable. This is his biggest weakness. But it maybe is not so bad depending on what they do here. But there was no other moves. Like knight takes, pawn takes. If I say knight, they say pawn, and then choose like after takes bishop moves, she says pawn, and we're just getting steamrolled after d5. So that's why I kind of had to say pawn, because even though it's, you don't know, he might play the wrong pawn move, it's still a 50-50, and probability wise I think the odds are too high that she says pawn, and we just get rolled in the center of the board otherwise. So that's my rationale behind saying pawn at any rate. Let's go with bishop. Pawn. Queen. Bishop. Queen. I'm trying to be extremely tricky here, you guys. Like, there's, if bishop takes rook d1, you lose, but I said queen, so you can go here and tickle the bishop, and then you can take, and there's no pin. I tricked Chiyu and I tricked Chiyu here because I'm sure she thought when she says pawn I have to take it, and I sneakily said queen, and there was only one queen move, and now when I say bishop, there's only one move, so there's like, it's 99% sure that the right thing will happen here. This was a very good trick on my part. I'm gonna pat myself on the back for that, because now if you go queen d3, you castle and your queen gets pinned, and if you take, I take on c4, and if you go queen a2, I take on c3 and I'm winning, and if you go queen b3, I fork you with knight a5. So it's very, very tricky. Also, you guys, none of white's moves are easy here. Like, if you say queen, there's 1 2 3 4, so there are a lot. It's not easy here. The more options that exist on the board, the harder it is, I think, to play here. Like, when Chiyu says queen, he doesn't know, does it mean here, 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 here? So like, even though he's 1640, he has to find the right move, and there it's 1 in 4, so he could be very wrong. If he picks the wrong one, there are 3 chances, so it's like a 75% chance that he'll pick wrong. If he picks the right one, well, what can you do considering the opening? But I do think we're looking very good here objectively.
That's a clever move. The more I look at it.
Yeah, I think afterwards, okay, never mind. I'll say something later. Okay, bishop. Just so you know, Hutch, I was patting myself on the back because I felt that I had outsmarted Chiyu when I said that. I gave a whole long speech to my chat, so they can probably afterwards you can ask them. I'm sure they can tell you what exactly I said.
You thought that you had outsmarted me, that I wouldn't find the queen move?
No, that I outsmarted Chiyu.
Oh, is that the
yeah, that's Nemsko. She's the
okay.
the expert on the other team.
Gotcha.
It's just funny because I said that, and then like 2 minutes later, like, that's a clever move. All right, let's go with queen. A very tricky spot again, though. See, like, again, there are 4 options.
Oh, it's getting complicated.
Three are bad here. Like queen a5, queen b5 runs into a fork, queen d6 runs into rook d1, queen a5 is playable. There are only two chances that are okay, but queen c3 is really good because white can't take, and then you take and recapture. Oh my god, this man is on fire. How did he play queen c3? Because this is almost winning, you guys, because
I can't tell if you're happy or upset when I'm looking at it.
No expression, you guys, no expression. Anyway, the point is that if white doesn't trade queens, you're good. You're going to win the bishop, so white has to go into an end game here, so that's why they should be winning. I'm just being me, no emotions, just the same as always.
He looks pretty animated to me.
Knight. Knight.
See, now they got that advantage now. They got the knight and the bishop.
All right, king. Let's go with rook. Also, you guys, again, I avoid the trick, and when I say rook, he has no, he can play rook e8 and blunder a juicer in the corner, but we're still ahead by a pawn. So as long as I avoid it where he can make any rook move and he doesn't lose, this would lose. But other than rook g8, there's no other rook move that loses. It's important. Let's go with pawn. Let's go with pawn. Let's 1 second, let me think. Let's go with pawn. Again, you guys, low risk probability, only 2 real pawn moves, because he's got a ton. If he tunnels on anything, it's the pawn on g7. So he tunnels on it, he knows he has to move, so it's a very high probability he puts on one of these two squares, and either one is still good, and we're still ahead by 2 pawns. Rook. 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 Let's go with rook. Let's go pawn. Let's go knight. Don't know if it's the best suggestion saying knight, but I mean, I feel like either knight he puts on e7 is good. There are no other squares that he can go to, so I mean, he's got two good options, 1-2, and he's got one option that's not great but not bad. So he's got three options that make sense, and this is the best one because then he can run with the rook down the board. But again, I think it's okay. He just has to not panic, and I think we should win this game. Let's go with knight. Let's go with knight. Let's see if he learned from the Sardoche situation. Did he learn from the Sardoche game, or is he gonna go? Okay, good. He learned. He picked it up from the Sardoche game. That when I kind of try to tell him to move knights, he gets it that I want the knight on different squares. So he goes e7, and now I don't know how we're gonna not win this game, because when I say rook, there really is only one move. You go down for the kebab on d3, and it should be winning pretty routinely. Also, no knight jumps. Rook. Rook.
Okay, what if I do one of these?
Rook. 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 Pawn. Knight. Rook. 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 Knight. Pawn. Let's go with knight. Knight. You realize it's a guaranteed fork right after knight e3. No matter where they go, there's a check on f3 or e2. No matter where the rook goes, there's a guaranteed fork. Or actually, maybe there's rook b1. But anyway, whatever. Who cares? It's a win.
I trusted you. I trusted
yeah.
you.
No, that was a great game.
Rematch. Hop back into it.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
All right. Oh, it got a little tricky with the double knights and like figuring out which one you were.
Yeah. No, I mean that was really dicey, but it's still a win. Still a win.
Thank you.
Okay, pawn. Pawn. Knight. Let's go with knight. Let's go with bishop. Pawn. go with bishop. King. Let's go with bishop. Again, you guys, it kind of tricked us in a sense, but I felt like the risk reward of saying pawn for h3 was too high relative to him playing something like pawn takes or e4 and risking the game. So that's why it's okay. Pawn. So that's why kind of I said this was because I was just basically I was worried that the risk of him giving up knight h5 might be bad, but the risk of something like e4 or cd5 would have been far worse. Let's go with pawn.
Actually, maybe I should have locked it up.
Let's go with queen. Let's go with let's go pawn. Also, you guys, I definitely am trying to invite h3 g4. I'm trying to get Hutch to understand that he can play on the king side. That's why I said pawn, because I feel like h3 is more natural. a3 is a move, but it seems kind of odd. Pawn. Let's go with let's go rook. Not best, but not bad either, I think. Because it's gonna be hard for them to come up with obvious moves here. Like they can trade takes. It's not easy for black either. They have to find some critical moves. Black is better here, but it's not easy to play. Queen. Let's go with rook. I'm trying to invite something very aggressive here. I'm trying to bait them. Let's go with rook. Rook.
Yep.
Oh, sorry. I wasn't sure if you heard me or not.
Sorry, I was thinking about it.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay.
Let's go with pawn. Really important here, you guys, that he plays e4. E4 is the move to open up and get rid of this weak backwards pawn. I was worried he might do that. I was hoping he wouldn't. It's maybe okay though, because if knight e4, then there's knight e2 and you still play the game, so it goes on. We'll see. Problem is when Chiyu says knight here, it's pretty obvious that I guess it's pretty obvious that he'll go here, but then when I say knight, I think Hutch should also see knight, because now you can sort of counteract the knights with both knights here, and he'll see right away this is just a fork that loses, so he should see knight e2, and then the pressure's back on Chiyu, because then she has to say knight, and then he has 1 2 3 4 5 moves to go from, and none of them are very obvious, so he should see knight to d2. Let's go with rook. 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 Let's go with ro Let's go with knight.
You're muted. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, sorry. Go with knight. Sorry, my bad. Sorry, knight. Sorry.
That's okay.
Queen. Let's go with let's go pawn. Let's go queen. Queen.
Maybe you wanted c4 there, but I kind of want to put my knight on that spot. Get him a little more active. Bishop is annoying as heck.
Knight.
Mm. Mm.
What on earth was she saying queen there? Queen e6 is an insane move, isn't it? Why did she say queen there? Queen e6 makes no sense at all. Well, queen e6 literally makes no sense. How do you say queen here? I mean, you can say rook, you can say queen. That makes no sense. They just threw the game for no reason. What?
You're a filthy man, Hikaru.
Queen. Queen. Let's go with pawn. Let's go with let's go with pawn. Let's go with pawn. Let's go with queen. Let's go queen. This is good, you guys, but I never should have said d5 because there's a blockade on the dark square, so there are chances still for black, which is why I'm not jumping up and down. There are legit chances for black here if you can somehow get the bishop rerouted, so I'd be careful. Pawn. Rook. Rook. Let's go with rook. Queen.
Um,
queen, that might have been the most brilliant blunder of all time by Hutch, potentially, depending what he plays here, because he definitely blundered, but we'll see. Pawn, 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 queen, that was not actually the best move, you guys, but I think it works. Let's go queen. Let's go with rook.
I don't know what happened there.
Let's go pawn, yeah, this is good enough to draw. Actually, the reason I panicked at first was because I miscounted the pawns, you guys, so I thought we were down one pawn in endgame, but it's actually even. It's 4v4, so it's fine, but I actually panicked because I thought we were down a pawn for a second. King, almost impossible to lose this, by the way, you guys. Queen, queen,
Can we just play for a draw here?
queen, queen.
Sorry.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, queen, 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 king, 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 queen, 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 pawn, queen, pawn, pawn, pawn,
I'm sorry. Sorry.
pawn, queen. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. Whatever. Anyway.
Holy shit, we did it!
Oh my god, you gave me so many heart attacks in that game.
Hikaru. Holy crap, we did it.
Yeah. Oh man, there's so many heart attacks in that game for me. Like,
I'm not stressed. I actually had a lot of fun that time. Oh man.
now you're not
Holy
sure.
moly.
That was great. That was really good. By the way, at the before you took that pawn on c5, there was a moment where you could have gone queen c6, queen c8 on move 44. So that's why I sacrificed the rook back, was because I thought there was a way to do it. But what you did was good. The checks you made with the queen at the end were really key, and then trading was also really nice. So very well done.
So on move 44, I could have done one instead.
You could have gone
pawn?
queen c6 with the idea of queen c8, and then you don't trade the c5 pawn for the d7 pawn. You just run the queen into c8.
Okay, gotcha.
But yeah,
Okay.
that was great though. And the end game, even later on, you played that so well with the queen checks. There were plenty of chances to go wrong or hanging queen, and you didn't do that. So you played very well, and you totally deserve it. That was fantastic.
Thanks, buddy. That was awesome.